So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this. This is Matthew Beatty alongside my critic companion crime, Carl Medina.
Hello, hello, hello.
And this is another episode of BBB Radio. Anytime of us recording this, it has already been just this crazy day of
Yeah,
heavy
as I say,
rainfall and yeah.
top level fuckery in terms of internet because we are in a
Yes.
struggle with this stuff. So
Yeah,
this is like the second time we record in November.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Electricity has cut off on both of our, in both of our homes, basically. So yeah, now we have a chance just basically to talk about Transformers: Rise of the Beast, right? So we're gonna
Yeah.
do what we can just
Yeah,
to
we'll
talk
soldier through
about this and just hope that we don't run
Hope we
into
make
any
it.
more chicanery, right? So
Right.
let's go. Right. So Transformers: Rise of the Beast, right? So I'll
Yeah.
just do I'll just do a preamble and you can just talk about what this film is about, right? So 2018, we got Bumblebee, right? And it's so funny looking back at that film, right? Because I actually recapped it, right? And actually, also recap the review that we did of that film on, December 2018. And by the way, fun fact, that movie actually came out a week after Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So we actually talked about it like a week apart from each other now.
Right.
Really
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, really weird, right?
Because it come out right. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, 2018 happened and we got Bumblebee, right? And this was a year after we got what is, in my opinion, the worst film of the past decade, Transformers:
Right.
The Last Night, right? Absolutely
Right.
hated that film. Wasted time. Spent money in IMAX. And it was just 2 hours and 40 minutes of my life I'm not getting back, right? So I'm not even gonna delve into why I hate that film so much, right? But Bumblebee clearly, right, was this big fuck you to fuck you right back, I should say, to Michael Bay, right, for
Right.
his sabotage of
Well,
his
I
own
gotta
series,
make Yeah, I gotta make a kind of a crass joke. This is a really crass joke. Apologies to anybody offended, but he kind of take all the meat out of the franchise and leave the chitlins left first, right?
Boy.
Um,
But I see where you're getting
Right.
at. I see where you're getting at. Yeah.
Yeah, but not in terms of the quality of the material or like the subjects or anything like that, but in terms of the timing of it. Like the problem is that people get fed up with Transformers one way or the other, so you best as well strike where the iron is hot, and now the iron is definitely not
That's
hot,
the thing. Yeah.
right? But we finally getting Transformers, the ones we want, but it really feeling too little, too late. In the case of Bumblebee, and in the case of this as well, I think we could talk about that,
Yeah,
right?
I agree as well, man. Because as much as I was enjoying the show, I'll just say this right off the bat, I enjoyed the show. It still felt too little, too late.
Yeah, the energy is not there. Like it's just not there. Anything. So the screening I went to, people was hyped, but it was like the first crowd people who give a shit about this, hyped for it in Gulf City, and it had a bigger crowd than I thought. Like I was thinking, oh well, I gonna be by myself or maybe like 2 people, and no, it had like a solid crowd for that first showing in Gulf City, which was surprising. Like it had this old dude in front who was like buying a ton of food, but he was like real vibes up, enjoying himself too.
Okay.
Like,
Well, as you're just talking about cinema, right? Just talking quickly, right? I was actually like reminded of how people actually like love these shows, or sorry, enjoy seeing them in theaters.
Yeah.
Because I went to an early screening and it was sold out. I was like, what? Sold out? So I had to wait for the next screening, right? And there was like this like 4 large lines, this long line, sorry, basically, just to get food, right? So I watching time, I'm there like, all right, well, should start, so let me just duck there. Long story short, the film start. It was supposed to start 3:30. It starts at 4. We literally had like a half-hour trailers and commercials, right? And people just coming in with food and whatnot, and the cinema was packed, right? I haven't seen that in ages, right? So yeah, we'll talk about whether.
Where were you?
I was in Caribbean Cinemas. I went Saturday to see it.
No, yeah, like this. The energy is still there for it, no doubt, but it's not as much as when the third film came out.
Agreed.
Like,
yeah.
The third film was huge. Like the first film was big, second film was huge, third film was massive in terms of the crowd size.
Yes.
I remember waiting. Like I waited a little while because I hated the second film. I go and wait.
Yeah.
And then when I still went, it had a big crowd. I was like, oh wow, this one, and it made what 1.3 billion or something like that.
I think so, but I think it's just because we we know about trilogies now, so we thinking, all right, the third film, all right, Dark of the Moon,
yes,
all right, so it's the end, we have to see this shit, right? And we did. So,
yeah.
but again, 5 years later, now we have Rise of the Beast, and the big sell for it, at least in terms of this soft reboot of the franchise, is that we finally getting a live action version of Beast Wars, right? You know, which is a show that
Right.
I grew
Well,
up
I
on, right?
mean,
Well, I mean, we both grew up on in the 90s, right? And for better or for
yeah.
worse, we kind of gravitated that because in the 80s, well, at least in my case, I was way too young to even know what Transformers were, right? It's only in the 90s that's when I was introduced to the OG series, right? Generation 1.
Yeah, I've seen most of it in speculation, in syndication as well. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's how I was
AVM.
exposed to it, right? Well,
Yeah.
through EVM, right? And then
Right.
of course we saw the movie there, and that was the film that pretty much introduced us to Unicron, right? Which the last night just botched so bad, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
Beast Wars like that dropped, what I mean, when in the 90s, right? So it's like, oh, okay, right? And then that was like the first instance of seeing you know computer generated animation on on TV, right? So it's not like going to theaters and seeing a Toy Story, for example, right? You're actually seeing this in your home, right? And yes, it's very rudimentary and rough when you look at it now. It was back then, but still, it
Yeah.
was something different. It was something new that we never saw before, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it had that riding for it. But I know with this movie here, it has to follow along with what we saw here in Bumblebee, but also give you the goods that you come to expect from a live action Transformers movie. But I wasn't really
Right.
expecting this show to reinvent the wheel or to hit on a lot of nostalgia when it comes to that TV show, right? But yeah, here we are, Rise of the Beast. Ricardo, take it away. What is it about?
Yeah, sure. So in ancient times, some ancient planets use a bunch of beasts. Have to run away with another MacGuffin. I forget it is the transwarp key. I think is the name of it. Um, so Unicron basically is allow Unicron tracing the beasts, and Unicron is allow Unicron to basically move about the galaxy to kill and eat everything. Called Unicron is basically Galactus, right? He's basically Galactus. So he they have to he almost gets it, and then they trick the bad guy into, well, the old ape guy. I forget his character name because I barely remember from the show. But he kills, he Optimus Primal takes over, and then they move away and are presumably to Earth to get to the transwarp key. And then now we enter what I think is one of the better protagonists of the franchise, Noah
Yes,
Diaz.
agreed.
He's basically a Miles Morales variant, same mother.
I know, right?
Uh, right. Yeah. He's a ex-vet, presumably Desert Storm. Uh, he uh, not getting a job. You have a little brother who's sick. They're all the basically the quick shorthands, right? To get you to sympathize. He little brown guy who on his dung and his luck, he had to steal stuff. He resort to theft to solve a problem. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, he meet the Transformers through an accident because he accidentally tried to steal Mirage, who was what is a Porsche 911, I think.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
Porsche. I can't remember what
yeah,
model. Yeah.
and he basically get in contact with, well, while they was doing that, Mirage started to get contact from Optimus Prime. Shout out to Pete Davidson. He was pretty good as Mirage, right?
Agreed, man. Yeah, he
Yeah,
surprised me,
because here's the
boy.
thing, yeah. Here's the thing. So the movie real sideline, like, I thought, okay, the big problem I had with this movie is that they sideline the beast a lot. So when I heard Pete Davidson was in this, I thought he was gonna be Rat Trap because, like, yeah, he
Right, I
sound like Rat
forgot
Trap.
about Rat
Eh,
Trap, man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I thought he was,
He's actually one of my
or
favorite
maybe at
characters.
least
He's actually one of my favorite characters from Beast
one,
Wars,
yeah,
by the
one
way.
of the better characters, right? Either Rat Trap or maybe even Cheetor, right? But I think it is Rat Trap because Rat Trap and Pete, it's Pete, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what?
So, well,
It's
sorry.
Pete.
Well,
It's
well,
Pete.
Rat
Pete.
Trap has that kind of New York. I don't
Right,
want to say
right.
Brooklynese, but he has that New York
Yeah, yeah,
accent
yeah.
about him. More kind of
But right, so
Italian
they
kind of way, because rat, right? Haha, right? Yeah.
right. Yeah, so basically it's the 90s, and you know basically, all right. So Dominic Fisher's character, I forget her name, Elena. She she sees some stuff because she's like this. She's another, again, a black girl. She dog on, she not really recognized at work, even though she's the real expert and she bosses the bullshitter. But the bosses go to the banquets and wherever it is. And Elena now um have to, like, go to solve a problem because she saw, like, this thing that don't make any sense in terms of the archaeology of it. And then she, like, steal something. She steal the artifact, but then the artifact unlock the first half of the key, and so on and so forth. The bad guys come, and bad guys start fighting. It's basically a typical chase the MacGuffin scenario. They find it up a second key because of the fight, and it's presumed Bumblebee dies. That was in the beginning. That is a spoiler, not really, because They address that later. So, yeah, that's it. And then chases. They go to Peru and South America, and that is the reasons why I kind of enjoy this because they clearly cater to a middle of nowhere jungle area. It justifies why it is fight in front of a bunch of people to kill a bunch of civilians, and yeah, we get a little. They do a little. Here's what they do. They do something that I liked. Uh, with Elena and Ariza, where they mentioned the Nazca lines, but they had Ariza saying no, like that's humans did that. That's very small, and I really appreciate that they did that. That is all I'll say. And you could get into why because a lot of like brown people accomplishments and places with the world where it's not Europe, it's almost dismissed as aliens did it, and they decide to say no, humans is the reason why that was done. Small thing, small little line, story line. I thought it was great. Yeah, but then Optimus has an arc where he don't trust humans, and then he grows to trust humans through Optimus Primal, and then they do something at the end, which is pretty damn awesome because I thought they should have done this since the second film. And they finally did it, and it was pretty awesome. And then while that action sequence was going on, it was reminding me of something else, and then they verified that something else. And that's about it. Yeah, overall, I'll say just for rating, just a quick early non-spoiler rating. I dug it, but it fell a little bit flat to be fair, right? I didn't think it was all that bad. Much better than any of the Bay sequels, but I still prefer the first Bay film over this. And Bumble is not as good as Bumblebee as well. I really rooted for this because of the director. Right? I really like Stephen Caple Jr. Mostly because of I really like his direction in Creed 2. Like even though that movie doesn't have that good of a script, I thought his direction was excellent. And to hear that he get a big geek project to work on, and I think he did a decent job with it. Yeah, Noah is great, as a character. He bunks off Mirage and Elena and Prime pretty well. And I like his genre savviness as a character, right? He constantly asks the typical questions of, hey, how come you had to transform to cars? And the usual, like, bullshit questions, right? Pete Davidson's quite good as Mirage, as I said before. And they clearly cut stuff with Elena and Ariza, but that previous sequence with the Nazca lines I really liked. Yeah, the main problem of this, however, is the Maximals. They really felt like side characters in what should have been the main story. Prime had the main arc, and it was all about his arc and his central conflict, especially with Noah involving something that Noah wanted to do, which again made a lot of sense. And I like that the hero was thinking like that. That makes sense. But then how Prime made the final decision involving that final plot device, I thought was really good. But what I think ultimately, I think I wanted a full Beast Wars film in ancient times with the Predacons because I really miss those Predacons. I miss T-Rex Megatron, and I miss Waspinator and Black Arachnia and
you reminded me of characters that I grew
exactly.
up
We
on,
should have been
man.
reminded
Yeah.
of those characters. And Rat Trap and Cheetor and these things. We see the characters and actually talking, and those characters bounce off. And we didn't really get that. Just like with Bumblebee, it feels a little bit too late, especially with one they want to do with that stinger. But however, the main thing about this that saved it is the needle drops. Great needle
Oh
drops.
my
They
god,
saved
I'm
it.
gonna talk about
They
needle drops in a
saved the
bit.
movie. Yeah, them rap choices and track choices save it for me because if you start off a movie with freaking Cream Dread,
I
yeah,
know,
that's
right?
an immediate plus
Yes.
plus 2 points for me.
Yeah,
Is
and I
starting
was
the movie off
probably
with
the
Cream.
only man nodding his head singing the song. I grew up
Yeah.
on the crime side, New York Times side.
Yeah.
That was me. I was
Yeah.
singing that shit. I don't care.
Dog, everybody was in my screen and everybody was bumping to that dread. I was just there and like, "Wah!" and everybody just hyping off over that. Like, they started good.
Yeah, and
Because
even
that
better,
crowd knew
even
exactly
better.
what they
Sorry to
come
cut
for.
you. Even better though is the album version too. Like when I hear that, like, all right,
Yeah, right.
all right, Paramount,
Yeah.
okay.
And okay, so we'll mention the ending. So there's the ending. So 3 years passed since the end of the movie because they was playing Hypnotize. They're like, what? Hypnotize will come out in
I'm
97.
gonna talk about that. Yeah.
But the thing is, no, here's my thing, eh? I just assume 3 years pass. That's all I'll see. That's all I'll see. 3 years have
Okay,
to pass.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Hypnotize come out in 97. Stop it. Whatever. But yeah, I dug it for it was exactly what it needed to be rating. I give it like a sem something, middle of sem, closer to 8 actually. And you get all them extra points because of them needle drops, let's just be clear. But yeah, it thing. So we can get into the spoiler section after we talk because it's just a thing. The main thing at the end.
It's the thing. It's the thing that
like,
everybody will be talking
it's
about,
the
right?
thing, right? Exactly.
But yeah,
Right.
I'll start off with the needle drops, right? But yeah, the moment I heard Cream, I was like, yes, I love this,
Yeah,
right?
boy.
The choices as songs for the most part were great though, except for one.
Well, good,
But
yeah.
I'll get to
Yeah.
that in a bit, right? It leans a
Right.
lot into East Coast hip hop, and it makes a lot of sense because our protagonist Noah
It's New
is
York.
from New York, right? He's from
Yeah.
Brooklyn, right? And it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense, right?
Brooklyn, right.
Um, so I would say that if you are a fan of hip hop from say 1990, because it covers from 1990 to 94 basically, right? It just covers those years, and just the needle drops that it shows were fantastic, right? There's one in particular that shows up during an action sequence, right? And I was just there like watching the action sequence there, for example, right? The soundtrack is
Right.
okay, like standard Transformers fare, you know what I mean? Like it's not from the same it's not from the same composer. It's this new guy by the name of John John Nick Bontemps, right? First time I heard about this guy. He did a
Right.
solid job, and he even replicated the the Optimus Prime intro music. The I forget how it goes, right? But when you hear
Right.
it, you know what I talk about, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah, I know
shows
what
up
you're
near
talking
the end as well.
Yeah.
And I actually like really captivated scene for me, right? But I'll get to that in a bit. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, when that song dropped though, and a character was revealed. See, here's the thing, like, I was watching all this and I was enjoying it, I was enjoying the stuff, right? But the moment that character shows up, audience erupted. I just smile, but the reason
Yeah.
why I was
That's
smiling is
hard.
because of the choice of song and how they worked it into it.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's the
perfect song.
perfect song.
Yeah, it's a perfect song. Because what make it work is that it's a
Yes.
mainstream song. Like it's a song that everybody get it, and then like in a straightforward thematic sense, it make perfect sense. So like yeah, that's a funny little bit to do that because it's because of
Exactly.
the name of the song.
Yes,
and the
yes,
opening line,
that's all you're saying
yeah,
without spoiling
perfect.
anything, right?
Yeah,
Now, all that's fine,
Yeah.
though, except for one song in it said, right? Hypnotized, right? So you say about 3 years later, right? I would
Right.
understand that, but here's the thing.
it had to be.
That's actually not true because all this literally did happen in '94. How I know? Why? Because there is a moment where our heroes are prepping to go to Peru in the first place, right? And I'm not gonna spoil which
Right.
shot it is, but you see it in the trailer. Sorry, and it would have been even more impactful if they picked a much better song, right? But because they played it during that moment, I was like, nah, man, you spoil it because we all think it's '94. No,
No, they
you
played.
give me a
Wait,
song from '90.
no.
They
When
played
when
it
did they play
when
Hypnotize?
no, all right, so
In the end.
spoiler, just get any spoiler part or the one spoiler, right? So there's a moment you see it in the trailer, right, where Noah and Mirage show up, right? And that's when Noah come out and Mirage transform, right? And that's when they're about to get ready to leave to go to Peru, and then the big transformer who's turned into the plane show up, right?
Right.
That's when they play Hypnotize for the first time. When I heard that, I was like, no, man,
Oh,
like,
okay, right. I forget.
I,
oh
I,
yeah,
but I
right.
get
Well, they
it. I
fucked that
get
up.
it. Hypnotize
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
yeah.
popular
They
song,
fucked that
yes,
up. Right.
right?
Okay, no problem.
But you could have played Juicy,
Right.
and that's what all they work into the trailer. All they
Thank
went
you.
out of their way to make it
1994.
sound cool, right? With the
Yeah.
yeah, and it sound corny as fuck, but whatever.
Yeah.
You could have used Juicy or something
Yeah,
else,
well,
or find another
it's for 10
song.
year
I
olds.
mean, just see it.
Yeah.
But whatever, right? And then they play it again before
Right.
the
No problem.
the
Yeah.
first post credit scene, which you'll get into in the spoiler section, right? And I was hearing that, I was like, but still,
No,
it's
the reason why I don't have a problem with
94,
this. No, the reason why I don't have a problem with it because they was playing it on the radio in the ending, so they actually hearing it now. So that's why I assume it's a more in universe rather than a
okay, but
diegetic,
still,
non-diegetic thing.
I am assuming that
I don't know.
everything takes
Whatever.
place in the same
It's a small
year.
nitpick,
It
I get
makes
it.
sense story wise, right? But that took me out. You could have picked another song,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah.
Also, as
Right.
you know, I mentioned Wu Tang earlier.
True,
I was happy to hear Tribe. I heard Tribe. Check the rhyme. I was expecting something like a War
Yes.
Tour or oh my God, something that
Yeah.
came out in '93. But they dropped something from '91 from Low Interior. It's like, all right.
Right.
Deliver that. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Where they really land for
Yeah,
me though,
yeah.
apart from the song that plays during that big moment that I see in the climax, was the choice is yours though from the Black Sheep. When I hear that, and the moment that they use it in the film though, I was like, all right, I fuck with it. That real hard. That was during the first chase scene you will see technically in the film. When they play that, I was like, all right, yes, perfect choice of song, right? So we talk about music long enough, right? The one thing that kind of holds back my enjoyment of the film though is that it really does feel like standard Transformers fare. It feels like literally sort of like a weird remake of
Yeah.
the 2007 Transformers movie where you have this guy who stumbles onto these Autobots,
Right.
and now he's roped into this adventure, and he has this MacGuffin that he has to use to connect to something, to activate something, and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the big baddies who want to kill him, and all that kind of stuff. And then you have the girl who shows up, and she ends up roped in as well too. But I will give
Right.
the show credit, though. At least they did not Megan Fox. Dominic Fishback's character. I'm glad that they did not do that. Yeah. I'm glad that she was
Yeah, no, she was
intelligent,
great.
she was
Yeah.
smart. If I just have one gripe with her character, though, is that they set up something pretty cool where she sings R&B songs, when she was singing Waterfalls when she's scared. And they never like bring
Waterfalls,
that
yeah.
up after she mentions it to Noah, though. She just kind of see it, and then like she never does it again. 'Cause I was thinking it would be kind of corny if it happened, but again, it's a Transformers movie. I was thinking in the climax,
I
when she actually pull off her big moment, though, she could have be singing a line or two. She could have be like singing, and then she do it now. Because I'm not gonna wait till all
or
the
something,
credits
yeah.
roll to hear TLC's Waterfalls.
Right.
Because one of the guys who work at the cinema tell me no post-credit scenes. Well, no, credit scenes. Sorry, no scenes after the credits finish. Right, no end credit scenes. Sorry. So I didn't stick around to hear TLC. Nor should I.
Yeah,
Nor
the
do I
main
have
credits,
to.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But I thought that near the end she could have do that now. So at least yeah. But nope, she doesn't do that. Right.
No, I find it clearly cut a lot of stuff with her. Right.
I
Because
feel so.
another
Yes.
another weird plot thing. I thought she and him would have met when it had a remember the girl was going to a party.
Right. The girl that her boss basically. Yeah.
Her boss, right? But he was robbing a place where was supposed to be a bunch of rich people. So I thought that's how they was gonna bounce up with each other. And maybe Jonathan Fixback also goes, but it's a thing that happened to this happenstance them together. And it felt like a little like choppy at parts and with her editing especially. And overall. And then stuff with Aries and her, also it clearly should have a lot of stuff because they was trying to connect them because she noticed her with the statue and whatever it is now.
Yes.
Whatever.
And I'm not even familiar with Ares at all. I think that this is a new character. I could be
Right.
wrong. Made for the film,
Mm.
right? But
Aries is a
okay,
character, yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
iffy about hearing Michelle Yeoh play her because in that second trailer that dropped.
Yeah,
But
it was
when I
alright.
hear it, like in the film, it's like. Yeah, it works. Like, of course they do
Yeah.
the distorted voice and whatnot, but it totally works, man. And just to touch on the voice acting quickly, Pete Davidson, sorry, killed it though as
Was
a
he
Mirage
standout,
though.
yeah.
I just like
Yeah.
how he embraced the fact, like, yes, like it's technically a cartoon, like a live action cartoon. So I'm gonna talk like that, but gonna be a
Right.
little edgy with it as well too. You know what I mean? So it's not like how in the old films it was just like, oh, we trying to learn American dialogue or we trying to talk like Americans. No, it
Right.
sounds like he is literally a cartoon character come to life, right? But in a really like
Right.
respectful way.
The quickest comparison to this I'll say is like I think of this is like Star Trek Beyond to Star Trek. Like it's just like extended episode of the show, and that's all you want, and that's what you need, and it clearly for the fans, but it's not like some big special masterpiece or anything like that. And as I said, I make the joke that Michael Bay just kind of poisoned the well, unfortunately, by just sucking up all the oxygen with what you could have done with it. As I said, if he didn't do 4 and 5, the franchise could have probably recovered, to be honest.
Agreed. Yeah.
But it kind of too little, too late for that. The biggest victims of all of this was the Maximals. I really, really wanted more Maximals.
Yeah.
And we already
I'll
got
talk about that.
a kind of a arc with Prime and Primal, and I like the subtext of that. So Prime, don't trust. Yes, we gonna make. I'm gonna make the joke given what the movie puts forward. Prime doesn't trust humans, and Primal trusts humans. But which you notice which humans is which, right? That's all I have to see.
Yeah. That totally works, right?
Right, and I thought that whole conceit was very good. Yeah, that was fine. I know when I get the
as you
spoiler
mentioned,
section. So
well, that's how we before we get to spoilers, right?
Last
And
one, yeah.
as I mentioned, Primal. Then I was surprised to realize it was Ron Perlman voicing him. I was like, okay,
Yeah, right.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. I was
Yeah.
even more surprised that Peter Dinklage was playing the villain Scourge because I was trying to
Right,
pick up
right.
who was Peter playing. I wasn't sure, right?
Right.
But yeah, as far as letdowns go, boy, Cheetah only say one line. I like
one line, yeah, Drew.
why? Okay.
Yeah, boy.
It was cool seeing Wheeljack. I know he's a iconic character from the G1 Transformers, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
The mere fact that he playing Mexican, like I was wondering if that was like a
So,
cheap shot at
that was
Michael Bay, with the oh gosh, the two what is this, Flapjack, whoever the other one is,
Yeah,
in two. I
whoever
feel
it is,
like
yeah.
it's a sort of a subversion of that, but at the same time another fuck you to Michael Bay.
No, but I thought that joke would fall completely flat. That was terrible. Like that was,
Yeah,
like, I would have
they
cut
really
that.
could have done much more with it though, but this kind of
Yeah.
mentioned it, and but I do like the back and forth between him and
No.
yeah, Noah though, because Noah
Yeah.
being Latino, right? That was interesting, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, Cheetah only say one line, but Rhinox dog, I like. All right, we seen
Nothing.
Rhinox.
Yeah.
Rhinox, I say shit. I like.
It's his shit.
And
Exactly.
what was the excuse? Because he have a cannon, a gun cannon in the mouth, so that's why he can't talk. It's Rhinox.
Yeah, nah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's Rhinox. Yeah. Rhinox is a big character. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's one of my favorite characters
Yeah.
from the series, right? But it was
Yeah.
cool seeing Unicron fully realized, though. Even
Look
though
great.
it is,
Yeah, I thought that looked great.
yeah,
Yes.
and really, really intimidating, though. I must say, right?
Yeah.
As for the human actors, right? Anthony Ramos, he is great as Noah Diaz. He is
He was
easily
excellent. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, I would say he is like the best protagonist in the Transformers franchise thus far, though.
Right.
I would say
Yeah.
Healy Stanfield come in second place, and well, I guess
Right.
Shia LaBeouf come third, and Mark
Right.
Wahlberg come fourth, right? Also, points for that Mark Wahlberg reference. That
Right. Funky Bunch, yes.
When I heard, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
all right, movie, okay,
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
okay, movie. I see you.
Yeah,
I see you.
yeah.
That was cool.
Those jokes. They're good. They know what they say.
They know what they're doing,
it.
man. I was
Yeah.
surprised to see Miguel Luna Lauren Velez, play Noah's mom, because again she was Miles'
Right.
mom in Spider-Man, right?
Right.
I didn't even know it was this.
The little brother was
Yeah,
okay.
the little brother, Chris. Well, I forgot the actor's
So
name.
here's
He
the
was
thing
cool.
with that, right? Here's the thing with that. I don't mind if they like jump at 10 years and have him be a new protagonist, and then you do 2000 nostalgia.
I was
would hate
thinking
that.
that the next film will tap into 2000.
Exactly.
But,
I wouldn't hate if
here's
they
what
do
I think
that,
will
right.
happen though, and we'll get to the spoiler part very soon, right? I have a feeling
Right.
they're gonna try to keep the continuity of Michael Bay's stuff, so they can't go to like late 2000s, because the first one was in 2007. So they had us be between
Well, no.
2000 and
Remember-
2005,
okay.
I would say.
Yeah.
That's
Alright,
the
alright.
that's the bracket.
So here's the thing with that, right? Here's the thing with that. So remember, this is a different continuity from Michael Bay. So I don't think they're going Michael Bay, but it is.
Okay, I assume they're trying to keep
No.
everything together,
No.
but not at the same time. I don't.
Right. So well, let's start spoilers. Wee you, right?
All right, fine. Let me get into spoilers. Yeah.
Right. So the same continuity is G.I. Joe's continuity, the first film, because
Yes.
when Noah was in the exosuit, it was looking like the accelerator suit of the first G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay. Because when I
Right?
was watching it, I just thinking in my mind, Transformers the movie. This is what you reference in here. Okay.
No, yeah, that's a reference.
I didn't connect the dots with the G.I. Joe stuff. Huh?
No. That's a reference. I get that. Because I know. Listen, when I saw it in the trailer where he get the little thing on his hand, I was like, great, we can finally get exosuits. And then he just had a little
Right.
gun, and like, oh. And then they do the exosuit thing, and like, oh fuck yeah, it look hard. And then I was like,
Yes,
alright,
it
well,
did.
they finally do it. But here's the thing: when Noah started like moving about a little bit, and he started running forward, and like that kind of reminded me of the accelerator suits of G.I. Joe, a little bit. And then they do the teaser at the end. And I forget the actor name. Shit.
I was watching face like, oh, Michael Kelly. Like, oh, you in this?
Right. Right. So when it's the same technology. So they derive the technology from the exosuit.
Right.
Is the accelerator suit.
No.
So that means it's the same continuity as G.I. Joe.
Right. No.
That G.I. Joe.
As I say that, right? There's a wide
So
shot.
that means that Marlon Wayans and them could show up.
All right. Yes. Okay. Let's go
Right.
on to that for a bit, right?
Right.
So there's a wide shot now where when Noah sees what they're doing, right? And I was there watching what the devices the scientists thinking on that.
I can tell.
I was
Yeah.
because again you're saying that you shouldn't really think about the Michael Bay films, right? So now I'm wondering, is that one of like the same I guess the shells of, I forget what you call it, the chambers, if you will, or the pods, whatever it is, that the Autobots or Decepticons come down with? I don't know. I was trying to piece together what
I don't know.
exactly that was. Is this gigantic thing now?
No, the thing is, it clearly, here's the thing. In the Michael Bay continuity, Optimus Prime wasn't on Earth.
No.
So-
right. Good point. Mhm.
Exactly. Is he Haley Stein? It's a different continuity.
Right.
We're
Okay.
going with Bumblebee
That's a
continuity.
great point. I forgot the fact that Optimus came down
Yeah.
in 2007 with
Right.
the Michael Bay films. Okay.
Right.
Okay, it would make
Exactly.
sense for him
So is
to
the Bumblebee-
go back up somehow to Cybertron and then come back down to help
Exactly.
Shia LaBeouf. I mean,
Yeah.
why?
And the whole point of this one was the whole fact that they stick on Earth because he destroyed the key.
Yes.
Right? So
and if you remember
exactly.
in the end
So
of
no,
if you
is
remember
he
the end of
Bumblebee?
Bumblebee, well,
Right.
he was stuck. Sorry, they were just more or less going to continue the mission to save the world or whatever it is, right? So
Right.
yeah, they were stuck for 7
Right.
years, right? Yeah. Um,
Right. And then well, it have a comic, a G.I. Joe and Transformers crossover comic.
Not surprised
So
by
that's the
that,
hype.
but I'll have to look it up
Here's
to
the
see
thing,
what
yeah?
it's about. But I mean, it's Hasbro, right? So it makes sense.
Listen, you'd have hear me, you'd have had to pull me off the walls if this shit had come out like 10 years ago, though. Because I'd be real hype, but 10 years,
Yeah,
too
boy.
much time passed.
When
I don't know if it's
the
because
first Transformers, sorry, when the first G.I. Joe movie came out, not 2009, I think. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So they could have crossover since then, They had a chance to
but
crossover.
them sequels, right? Them sequels had to happen, right? And well,
late.
G.I.
Yeah,
Joe
too little,
Retaliation
too little,
happened
too
too,
late.
right?
Yeah.
You have to remember that, right? And God,
Yeah,
let's not talk
exactly.
about Snake Eyes.
And then I will,
Let's not talk about Snake Eyes. Yeah, right.
Right. They should be bad. They didn't know what they're doing, but they finally tried to get it done. But again, I don't know if it's because I too old or too much time passed or probably a mix of both. But I can't get myself to care about this.
Same here too, boy. Like if it was in the 2010s, I'd have been like, hell yeah. Like if it was like right
Yes.
after G.I. Joe Retaliation,
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
like, all right, cool, yes.
Right.
But no, in 2023, it's
Right,
like, all right.
right.
And I'll confess, right? I probably was the only man who was like, what? Okay. I wasn't like shocked, but I was surprised. I
Yeah.
like expressed
Yeah.
my excitement,
Yeah, me too.
verbally. But I don't
Yeah.
think anybody else did. They just heard hypnotized and get up and say, yep, movie done.
Yeah.
Woo! And they don't walk out.
Yeah.
And
All them children grew up.
yeah,
So what time passed, all them
exactly.
children grew up.
They don't remember that
They know
movie.
what it is.
But yeah, I just want to talk about the mid-credit scene though.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, not that much really happens though. But I do like that we bring back I don't want to say a popular character in the show, but
Right.
somebody who really stood out to me, Reek, right? So I didn't even know that it was Toby Wigway who plays Reek, right? So here's the thing, right? I know of his music, right?
Right.
He's a rapper, right? I know of his
Okay,
music,
I know who
but
that was. Right.
he actually do a song for this movie with Nas. That's the song that plays during the climatic.
Oh,
Yes,
so that's
yes,
the
that's
black fellow
it.
he
Yeah,
was
so
robbing the place with?
yeah. So during the whole climactic battle, you hear that song playing. Is it typical? It's like their version of What's Up Danger.
Right.
It's like that. That's what they're going for, right? But yeah, I
Right,
didn't even
right.
know it was him until I saw like the name in the credit. Like, okay, I didn't know that. So I will
Right,
will make a stronger effort now to check out his work because I know the man like real killing it in with his style of rap now. But for him to be able to do a song with Nas too is like
Yeah.
amazing, right?
Well,
And
look
by
it
the
up.
way, boy, Nas and just popping up on
Yeah.
blockbuster soundtracks this year though because he was on the last track
Yeah.
of the one for Spider-Man, right? Nas Morales, which is a brilliant name, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I really should seek out that song because I actually haven't heard the full thing or I haven't even checked out the video for it as yet, right? But yeah, I thought that Toby was cool, man, and the whole thing with the Twizzlers that was funny. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that they actually kind of brought him back into the story, so at least he knows now. Cause yeah, we in spoiler territory now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that the car that he was that he more or less encouraged him to steal. Yeah, it's a Transformers, right? It's a Transformers
Yeah.
story, right? So I guess we'll see what happens next, or we probably won't because, as you say, they probably might zero in on Chris, that's Noah's brother, and we'll see some
Right.
2000 stuff, right?
I hope this make money. I don't know if it'll make money, but it had to make good money.
It should. I
to get-
think right now it beat Spider-Man.
Well, guys, that doesn't say nothing because it's a second week thing. But so I don't know.
Mm.
But you know what I mean? But like I'll say because I think it make like a 60 million. Like that's not bad. But that's not great either. It's like whatever.
All right. Well, I'll read it
That's
up
fine.
here right now on Wikipedia. Now I've seen it made 170 currently right now. 170 million.
Oh, that's globally.
Yeah.
Okay, no, right. So I saw the 60 million. I think that was the domestic thing I saw then.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I can live with that.
Right,
That's
so
fine.
that's just a couple more things before we get to Return, right? I thought that the action sequences were very well handled, man. I'm not saying that
Yeah, it's good.
that Stephen Caple Jr. have some particular style or whatnot, like when it comes to his action sequences. Like I would say one thing that was so refreshing about this show here is that no oversaturated visuals and lens flare and all that kind of stuff. So it's not the Michael Bay
No.
stuff, right? I like that.
No.
Apart from a few slow-mo shots, just a few slow-mo shots, it's like Steven had to do things the way how Michael Bay did it, right? So it wasn't like, say, Bad Boys
Right.
for Life, for example, where where the two guys, I forgot the two guys who directed the film, had to kind of do
Right.
things slightly in a Michael Bay way, even though
Cater
they were
to
doing their
right.
own
Yeah.
thing at points. But you know the moments where they kind of stop and be like, all right, we had to do the 360 shot because, Michael Bay did it. You have to do the oversaturation
Right.
stuff because Michael Bay did it. It's a Bad Boys movie, so we kind of
Right.
have to do it. Now, this one feels like it's own thing, right? Even in
He do
comparison
it thing, yeah.
to Bumblebee as well, right? But yeah, I thought that they were very well handled, right? I heard some people actually kind of criticize the climax, so I enjoyed it for the most part, but I just felt like we could have
Yeah.
gotten more of the Maximal stuff, and that's where I'll get to the last point,
That's the
right?
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, the Maximals were
Yeah.
sidelined in this movie, man, and not just that you don't hear
Yeah.
Rhinox, but just, I mean, it's freaking Optimus Primal and his gang, like, you could have
Yeah.
seen more of that. Now, I understand story-wise that they had to begin with the Autobots, but and then when they hit Peru, that's when you actually see the Maximals. But we still could have got more of the
Right.
Maximals because even while I was enjoying the
Yeah.
the Autobot stuff in the first act, I was like, we still gonna get the Beast, right? We still gonna get that, right? And we kind
Yeah.
of don't
I
get
mean,
much of it.
look, I get it. I get it. Look, Optimus Prime is still by far the iconic figure, and it's kind of hard to switch
Yeah.
from him, right? And they're not doing Rodimus Prime any
No,
damn
no.
time soon or anything like that. So, look, Optimus, as long as Peter Cullen alive,
Yeah.
they're doing it. He gonna be the star of the story. Like, it's kind of hard to not to sell it without him. It's only because between him and Bumblebee is the two most most popular
That's true.
iconic figures. So to go straight to the Beast is a stretch. I'll admit that, but I still wanted more Prime. I mean, they were the impetus to the story, so I suppose that was good enough. But whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine enough.
And
Moving on.
even in the climax as well too, we could have got more of them. Now I will say, right, last thing I'll say before I get to Rita,
Yeah.
right? This is actually one of the few Transformers movies that like got to me. Not in a deeply emotional level, right?
Yeah.
But there is a particular moment where a character makes a sacrifice and somebody else.
No, but that was the ending. The ending when he
Right,
he
that,
grabbed
that's
him
what
and
I'm
you
talking about,
tried
right?
to
Yes,
drag the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. What,
That was
right,
hard.
so we still in
That was
spoiler
hard.
territory. My bad, right? So yeah, when Optimus decide to destroy the device now, which was bringing
Right.
down Unicron, right? Yeah, usual wind stuff, he being sucked up and whatnot, and then you see Noah with the exosuit
Yeah.
come and holy handred, and it hit my boy. Like I didn't
Yeah,
cry
well,
like
the
that,
axe,
but I was
yeah.
like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I care, boy. Like
Yeah,
I
it was
care
good.
if these characters live or die. You know.
You care.
It's
Thank
funny
you.
because
Thank you,
it's funny
Matthew.
because I did thinking
You
it's
cared.
gonna lead to 2007 Transformers, but you tell me no, that's not the case. So I
Or
did
some
like,
shit,
all right,
yeah.
well, of course Optimus gonna
No.
survive, right there, right? But still, in that moment when he was like about to get sucked up by
Yeah.
and Noah grabbed him, boy, I was like,
No, because
oh, I
it
feel
came
that.
back.
Yes,
It came back
with,
to
with
Optimus
trusting,
arc.
with trusting,
It came back to the arc. We remember he wanted to destroy the key. And then Primal, though, he come in the end, and he grabbed the axe at the same time. It's like, alright, cool. And they make it work. Simple scene. They make it work.
Yeah. And even well, and it just ties back to Optimus, not trusting humans, right? And it gets even better though when Primal and all hold on to Noah Jedi is like,
Yeah,
what is
in the end,
all I want or something like that, which I think
Yeah.
is a reference to the original movie, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
when I hear that I was like, I feel that shit, like I
Right.
actually give a shit, boy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they make it work. Yeah, thank you. That's what it worked.
It does,
I
right?
found
And,
it worked. It worked.
and just the way how it closed, and
Yeah.
where the characters are. Or I should mention one more thing now before I get to it. And I do like the fact again going back to Dominic Fishback, right? Yes, we could have got more of it in retrospect. Yeah, they didn't do the forced romance like in the first Transformers movie, right? Where in the end
Right.
they on top
I'm
of the
glad
car
it is-
kisses
yeah,
and all that.
they don't do
it's
that.
just like basically what they just show is just
Yeah,
them
yeah,
in
yeah.
the same plane. And Dominic just
Yeah.
leaned she head over to
Yeah.
Auntie. That was nice. I like that, right?
Yeah,
And
good
that's
enough.
all we get.
Good
right?
enough.
And
Yeah. Good enough. That's good enough. We could don't need to do more than that because I thought she was a very active character, all things considered. Like
Yes.
she's the one who figure it out. She's the one to solve a bunch of problems. She's the one thing. And then, well, I don't know if this was intentional on the part of GGI Joe guy, but they had her on the TV going on 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Being all of that I can live
No,
with.
I can,
Like,
I
yeah,
can live with that too. I
work.
can live with that too, right? But yeah,
Yeah,
that was nice. That
right.
was nice. So yeah,
Yeah.
in closing though, I really enjoyed this film though, and
I dig the hell out of it.
yeah, I actually watched Bumblebee like 5 years later, right? Since I first covered it, right? And yes, I do enjoy that film pretty much for what it is, right? For what it is, right?
Yeah.
This sort of 80s ET slash Iron Giant kind of throwback thing, but just with
It's ET,
Transformers
yeah.
and John Cena just
Yeah.
being a dick, right? It works, right? But as far as
Yeah.
tapping into 90s, hip hop culture, and just seeing, all right, is the 90s, we kind of going back to that sort of summer blockbuster vibe as with Transformers and all that kind of stuff. This one totally works for me, man. I actually enjoy this. I would say slightly more than Bumblebee. Simple reason being is that more Transformers. We got more Transformers action and whatnot, and we got a great protagonist in the form of Noah, right? In my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But for me though, what really holds it back, unfortunately, is that it feels very much like your average Transformers film. It kind of feels in a way like just a soft remake of the first film, right? Right down to story beats and where things play out, how things play out and whatnot, right? It kind of feels like that in a sense, like if you really think about it, right? Um, but that's not to say that Stephen Capel Jr. and his team didn't do their thing, and yeah, they did their damn thing in this, man. And
Agreed.
I had a
Fully agree.
blast
Yeah.
watching this, right? So rating wise, I'm gonna give this like 4 out of 5, man. I would say it is definitely worth checking out on the big screen. Go with friends, get your snacks, get your popcorn and shit, and have fun, man. Right? And I'll close this, right, to you Gen Xers, sorry, to you Gen Zers who probably hearing these hip hop songs for the first time. We live in a world where YouTube is a thing and TikTok is a thing. Please seek out these songs. These songs are classics for a reason, right? And the mere fact that they were incorporated into a summer blockbuster movie with the word Transformers in it is just a testament to how great these songs are. So yeah, don't just walk out the show and say, boy, Bumblebee boy and Optimus boy. Go and seek these songs out, man. Cause they still slap to this day, right? And that's all I have to say. So Ricardo, your final thoughts on Return.
Yeah, yeah. As I said, I really wish we got more maximals, but it really works for what it is and what they're trying to do and go for. As I say, my ratings about 7, like a 7 out of 10. But in the vein of like a closer to 8, mostly because yeah, the man opening movie with goddamn cream dread, like you can't go wrong with that dread. So
Agreed.
Capel, I think is a really good talent. I really want more from him. I really hope this make money and they do more. We could get a workable continuity and make it work for what it is. As I said, I like to think of this. I don't think it is as good as Bumblebee, um, and I still prefer the first Bay film over this. But it's still like a third best, which is fine. And I would like to see more material from this
Mm.
man, like game more material. I call this the Star Trek. Is like what Star Trek Beyond is to Star Trek movies. Perfectly serviceable, perfect for the fans. Loved it as it is. Can't be mad at any it is. Yeah. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10 ultimately, but closer, in the vein of a 7, but not as close as to 8. So 7.3 or 4, whatever it is. Around that. Mostly because, and I'll admit it's because of them needle drops on that music. That, come
Yeah.
on, man. You can't go wrong. Yeah.
Again,
Loved it.
Gen Z viewers, please seek these songs out because they still slap, right? Again, that's the last time I see that, right?
Yeah.
All right. So stuff to look forward to quickly. We have, of course, The Flash that is coming out this week. Hearing
Right?
things
Yeah.
about it, like it's not the perfect film that everybody was
I
saying
saw
early
I
on.
saw the score. I saw the Metacritic score and it's pretty mediocre as it is. So it's like, oh, that is all the hype. I
Yeah.
ain't seen that. It's not better than Spider-Verse. So I ain't super hyped
Yeah.
for this. I will fully admit that I'm not hyped for this because Ezra Miller. Like it really feeling like I had a hole in my nose. I watch this movie a little bit, right? But I feel like I have to watch it. So whatever. And then after this, Ezra Miller need to go to the
You
Phantom
know,
Zone.
but
Sorry.
just to talk
You're moving
quickly.
on.
Well, apparently, I don't think that the director himself, I'm forgetting his name right now, wants that to happen.
Yeah.
He happy working with him,
Yeah, he
right? So
defending Ezra Miller.
it's
Fuck
like, all
off,
right,
Jud.
Grant
Fuck off with
Gustin,
that,
I
Jud.
mean, just saying, just
Come
saying.
on, please, eh?
We also getting
Yeah.
Elemental this week. Okay, I'll
Right.
make an effort to see it. I
I'll make
mean,
an effort to see that
like
as
I
well.
said with
Right.
the Spider-Man review,
Yeah.
I'll just probably roll my eyes and make, ugh, Pixar, look at this, ugh, right? Um, you're supposed to be
You know?
getting
Yeah.
Extraction 2 on Netflix.
Right.
I hear that the long take, because one takeaway from the first one was the long take action sequence. I think it's like twice the length or something like that. I think it's, yeah, like probably about
Okay.
15 or
Well,
20 minutes
yeah.
compared to the 10 that we got, or I think it's 9 minutes we got last time or something along that line. Yeah, there's that, right?
Right.
And at the end of the month we're supposed to be getting Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. CC it for it. That's all I had
Not
to say.
excited for
CC it
that.
for it.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not excited for
like
that shit at all.
just in
You'll
closing,
find
like
out.
I initially wanted to go IMAX to see the Flash, yeah, but now that I hearing kind of so things about it, because early on people were like rating this thing, oh my god, it's like the best superhero movie ever, and then like leading up to
Listen.
release, is like,
Exactly.
not really. It kind of cluttered it all over the place, and that's
That
what you're hearing now, you know.
exactly. I saw got that whole thing. It feel like some shill thing. There's one guy I genuinely like his opinions, but the problem is that he kind of on the shilly end of things, and he was real hyping it up now. But it's like, yeah, by that point he's kind of again kind of shilly. So it's like,
yeah.
well,
So the show for sure that
We
I
gonna see.
will be checking out, come hell or high water in IMAX is gonna be Oppenheimer. It's gonna be Oppenheimer. I mean, it was filmed with IMAX characters, so why not?
Film for IMAX, yeah.
But I think
designed
that
for
will be like the only show right now that I will go and see during this summer, right? But yeah, or I don't know if something else will come out that well, certainly not Barbie. I'll take in Barbie, yes, but not to know IMAX, man. I mean, Oppenheimer, right? That's what it is. But yeah, if there's anything else worth checking out in IMAX, I will. And of course, if there's any other films or TV shows worth checking out, going forward, yeah, we'll make the effort to check it out and we'll talk about it here in this show. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. So once again, guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're listening to this. To the next one, take care, stay safe in and out, watch that weather out there. Peace.